stopped recording for a second by accident.
Okay. Slight hiccup, but no problem. I'll just start over here. So what we're doing is I'm putting on these L angles, which are going to be a 1-inch brass corner angle into each one of these points. I did 5 total, and I also wound up using these little black pieces here, are called speed nuts, which are these little sleeves to slide over there. You're going to wind up needing 10 of those, because you'll need one on the top and one on the side, because your sides are going to have these screws here. These are a 1/4 20 socket cap screw, that there, and then I wound up using just a 1/4 inch zinc washers, just kind of give something there. You'll notice later on, whenever I'm putting things together, and I'll show you one of these too, on the pack part, I've actually got these black chrome for later on. I didn't bother doing that here. One, these are kind of expensive to use. It looks better on the back of the pack, kind of hiding some of the screws that are going into the pack there. But I'm also planning on doing a paint job later on, so these are not going to stay silver. So with that being said, let's see here. Let me get down to our measurements here. So basically what I did was to figure out where this point to this point, I measured our tape measure here down. That should be 1 1/8 on each one of them. So it'd be 1 1/8 down, and you pick where you want to go. For me personally, I just kind of went in between here, kind of made about the center here on the side. Picked out our top point here. Other side here, I kind of like the look of the spot here. Kind of look at what you prefer, what your preference is, okay? But that definitely is going to be that 1 1/8 down to get that point here. And if you choose a spot like here, which I was trying to go more towards center, there's actually some reinforcement here, and I didn't pay attention to that until after I had the hole drilled. So I had to move things over. Luckily the washers cover the hole, but that is about halfway. I still kind of came over just a little bit to make it to where it's about halfway in between this brace and the edge of our cyclotron part here. So once I had that all in place, I was able to figure out where my holes were by laying my board down. And I kind of laid in there. Would measure from the edge here to the center of your hole, and then that would give you your point on your Alice pack here to put that down to mark it. Whenever you're going through, if you do like I did, put this back in there to kind of fill things up, and you're drilling through, it's going to be a 1/4 inch drill bit that you want to use. Start in reverse just to get through the fabric, so you're not tearing up the fabric. You'll kind of notice the fabric kind of pop up a little bit. When it does that, you're through. Go ahead then and drill your main hole through that. Then once you're all set with that part, you can go through and mount everything. Just trying to think if there's anything that I'm missing that I'm not thinking of that I did to try and help anybody out. So after we got that all set on, I actually drilled all of this with the pack on to figure out where the placement of the Alice pack was, I had to pause a whole bunch of people's photos quite a bit just to try and figure out our distance from here over and here. And if you center down here at the bottom, right along with your edges of your pack, you should be fine there. That's how I had to figure it out. Was I don't have an exact measurement, it's just basically made this look equal. For down here, what I did was I measured from our bottom point, and you notice I got a bumper on here. This is before the bumper, by the way. You put a bumper on. Can you guys tell I've never done this before? So if you have your bumper, you're going to be sitting up from there 2 13/16. If you don't have your bumper, and you're just measuring the bottom of the pack up from that bumper there, I had 2 3/8. Sure that's right. Well, my notes here, and I'm kind of rambling on. Oh, yep, 2 3/8. And then before you have your foam on, if you're measured down to the top of your pack, you're going to wind up having 4 1/4 down. So that'd be measuring from right here to the very top rail of where your top of your Alice frame is going to be. So that should be 4 1/4 down. So again, 4 inches, 4 1/4 inches down. Hopefully that makes sense. If you've never used a tape measure, you can get these nice ones. They got at least all that on there, in case you're not super inclined with anything. I know you run into that every once in a while where no one ever plays with the tape measure. So from there, what I did, make sure. Thought I had the measurements in here. Sorry about this. Ah, yeah, yep. Okay. So, bring this on over. Now, what I anchored with was, I've got 1/4 by 20, 3-inch round head screws. So they're 1/4 20s. Again, on the back side of this, you'll notice I've got our 1/4 20. Oh, great! Now I'm going blank on the name of these things. Nylon nuts or lock washer or lock nuts. They use nylon to keep them in place. Again, there's that one. Give you an idea which one we're looking at here. And then I got let's see, 10 total of the those are fender washers, 1/4 fender washers. So that'd be your big washers in here to give some support here. And those are 1/4 fender washers, and I don't know if we can get a good picture of it in here. But that spacer in between here and here, that is a black chrome washer, and they are 1/4 by 5/8 by 1 inch. I've got 5 of those to give some space between the back of the pack and our Alice frame. What I did was, once I had all those measurements for our height and centering this up, I drilled these holes ahead of time, which come in from our supports. So I'm measuring from right here to our center of our hole here was 2 3/8 on both sides. And then what I did was I measured from our brace point here for our kidney pack up to about center here, and that is 5 3/8 here. And then there's 2, you'll notice on your Alice pack, 2 slots down at the very bottom, and that's I just kind of left that and tried centering up the best that I could as I was doing that. I'm a little bit off on those, but it worked out pretty good. Again, I drilled a 1/4-inch hole here, and then I laid everything out, made my measurements from here down, centered it, and then just with a marker, I just marked through the holes, and that marked really nice onto this fabric. And then just drilled, like I said, drilled the 1/4-inch holes, starting in reverse, get through the fabric, then going through with the full 1/4-inch through the whole board. After I got that all set, basically just use the same. Sorry, I have a dog and cat, and they're getting into something. But anyways, I basically was just using the screw, the Phillips head screw to hold that in place, and then I just used a ratcheting wrench to tighten these down and keep everything nice and tight. Then whenever everything was all done, you should be all set. Then after that, put everything in, and then each one of these, just make sure your board's in there good, and then you can start setting your washers in, and Allen screws. Kind of do one here because there's a couple other things I was going to show here too real quick, and I need to pack back open. But that's what that winds up looking, at least with the black chrome. And go ahead and do whatever you like, of course. Your pack, have fun with it. And no, I've been having fun trying to figure out all this stuff. So, but that's at least what I did for the motherboard. I'll have. You were going to try and get some descriptions down in there, right?
Yeah, I will in the video description put all the stuff you've got there. Yeah,
we'll get all the sizes. I want to make sure that's there. That way, if there's any questions, I can try and help out as much as I can. I'm hoping that this helps out immensely for anybody. Then a couple of things I've done. On top of this, I have done a couple of mods here. Let's get this fella back off here. Which have been super easy mods. A couple things that I've got that I've picked up. This is from Chris Bosch Props. Check out what he does. I've gotten a Clippard and a raised stand from him. You find him on Etsy.
I'll put the link to his store in the video description.
We'll put a link in the description. But I wound up getting this Clippard. He makes things that basically just go over what's existing. That way you're not chopping your pack up too much, but they look really good. I'm just waiting for like a Clippard sticker, a few other things here to keep going on this. But in that pack came with these two pieces, which just slipped right over. All I had to do was hot glue them on and into place. The only thing you have to do, in case you've noticed, is on this pack, the Clippard is pretty long. Back in here, there's a screw. You have to unscrew that and take off the tip of the Clippard for the old one. Then you'll slide this on, slide that on, and just hot glue them into place, and they're good to go. Another couple things that I got from them. This came in a kit also, to where it comes in with these squares to kind of give the base that should be on beyond these, and it comes along with the bottom bumper. Again, these just slide right on over, hot glue them right into place. This just pops right on, just hot glue that into place. And you see I've kind of given it somewhat a little bit of paint job already, just kind of get things looking a little better. Second thing that I did is up here with our wire ribbon. You'll notice it has this ring here. What I wound up doing is I didn't like the look of it. You could look in there, you could actually see the wire from the battery pack. it just didn't look right. So for me, what I did was I actually cut this down about almost flush. I've still got a little bit of it sticking up, and I ran a step bit through. And this step bit goes up to 7/8, and that's what I did for the hole there. I ran it all the way through for 7/8 to get up to being able to use. Let's see if I can do this. I'm holding this up, but this compression coupling deal to easier said than done trying to hold this thing in place. This is over in electrical, if you're wondering where you find them at. They're in electrical, but it just looks like that. This side's going to be on the inside. This is my outside here. And after you cut that down, just use a Dremel. I came in from the side here to start with, and then with how much room there was, I just kind of came over here to the front and actually was able to cut back coming from this side up to finish the cut. So it makes it pretty easy to do. This is just going to stick in through the back. And you're going to have this little weird washer thing here. It does, I tried it without it, and it just, this didn't quite sit right. So I recommend trying to keep that little fella in there. Now I'm just tightening from the back. And that's what that winds up looking like. Gives you a little bit more of an actual look of something that should be there. Again, you know, do whatever you'd like to do for the coaster pack, but this is just what an idea I came up with that looks good. And like, you know, some of my buddies buddy of mine is working on another pack too. I just kind of like that look. Just put your wire cable back, ribbon back in. That's what it looks like with the wire ribbon back in. Hold that in place. And notice on the back side here, you've got, this is where the screw would wind up going. What I did was I punched a hole through the cable, just brought it over, and just screwed that into place. Let's see if I can find the same hole again since I took this back out to show everybody. There it is. So that, just gonna go there. Tighten that back in place. Now I'm going to wind up replacing this cable at some point in time too, or ribbon with a, you know, more screen accurate. But for right now, just using what's been given to us. And it already looks a little better. Also wound up going out. That's the only thing I didn't grab. Crud. Yeah, I didn't grab that. Well, this one's pretty self-explanatory. I think anybody can do that one. So, the only thing I did again was use one of those 1/4-20 socketed cap nuts, and that is our cat Bud, who is deciding that he wants to be.
He's helping.
Very helpful. That's cute.
He's helping.
You're helping, but right now I don't need you to help. I'm sorry, dude. You're in the shot. We'll get him on the floor here, and we'll keep on going.
Buddy.
Bud, come on, dude. I know you're not going to like this. Come on. Bud.
Bud.
He's also our one that does not like to be picked up, so this is going to be bad.
I know. I'm sorry, buddy.
You're okay, dude. I know. You're also by the dog now, which you're not a big fan of the dog. Sorry. But, again, that's another one of the 1/4-20 cap screws. And then on the inside, get a 1/4 inch drill bit through, and then another one of those lock nuts with the, can you see that okay? Yeah. Okay. With one of the nylon nuts there, just kind of hold it in place, because just make it look part of it. Oh, yeah, duh. And if you ever want to make things look a little, like there should be something here, maybe make things look a little more built out, I did this for my wand, because it just always looked weird not having anything, nothing there, no plate, no nothing showing that that's going in there. It just was kind of there. So again, want to do something that I kind of liked something made to look a little bit more substantial. So what I did was I had to actually get all this out of here, get the loom out, and then I drilled this hole up to 1 1/8 inch hole to be able to fit these pieces here. Now these are just out of the your home and garden. It's for plumbing, or not plumbing, but
like a hose.
Hose. Yep, for a hose. And what it is actually 5/8 inch by 3/4 hose repair with a female coupler. And actually, I'll probably take that apart. Oh, I got that on there pretty good. I'm gonna grab my wrench. If you want to.